been a while, hasn't it? How are you? Let me know in the comments. So for once, I've actually managed to make a timely video that corresponds with an International Day of Awareness. It's on the 14th of November and it's World Diabetes Day. It tends to be symbolised by something blue. I've just got this cushion here with me. So what I'm not doing today is the classic, this is what diabetes is, I'm type 1, this is what it's all about. I think, well, one, I've done that before, there are other videos on my channel that cover that, but also, if you know me personally, you'll already have had that spiel, and I think a lot of the people who follow this channel are type 1 diabetic as well, so you don't need to know that either, you're living it. So instead what I'm going to talk about is insulin. Quick disclaimer before I get back to talking about this stuff. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a healthcare professional. I'm just a person with type 1 diabetes. So I can't recommend that you do anything involving changing your insulin without consulting a doctor first. We're talking about insulin access here, and it's really important that that includes healthcare people. This is a vial of insulin and it's been in the news quite a lot recently. The first instance I want to talk about is a certain orange who claimed that insulin is so cheap, it's like water. So this is a little 10ml vial, it's 100 units of insulin. I take about 40 units a day. Just bear that in mind as I talk you through this. If you know anything about the American healthcare system, you will know this is categorically untrue. If you can get insurance with a pre-existing condition like type 1 diabetes, your medication is still not free. It's cheaper, but you still have to pay deductibles, and insulin sits in the highest of the 4 brackets for insurance prices. But if you don't have insurance, what do you do? Some people pay full price for their insulin. That can be around $300 a bottle. So definitely not as cheap as water. A lot of people need way more than 1 bottle a month. 3 of these would cost $900. They really rack up for something this tiny. Other people choose to ration their insulin. It's estimated that 1 in 4 people in the US has or is currently rationing their insulin. And other people choose to use human insulin, which is an older variety of insulin that is much less effective and safe, although it is cheaper. Access to modern analog insulin is a human rights issue. A person whose body produces insulin does not have to pay $300 to over $1,000 a month for that privilege. And when a person's beta cells stop producing that insulin and it's not replaced via injection or infusion, they're dying of ketoacidosis, which is where your body starts to break down protein. It's a slow and quite painful death. To systemically discriminate against people based on their employment or their insurance status, putting barriers up and allowing companies to price gauge, that's not okay. Speaking of access issues, hashtag there is no insulin in Iran. Iran's Food and Drug Administration claim that the shortage of insulin in the country is temporary. But when diabetics need insulin 24/7, any delay can be life-threatening. There's also been no indication of when this shortage might end. Factors that have contributed to this shortage are numerous. The press are primarily blaming the sanctions placed on Iran by the US, and these are making it hard for Iran to import any kind of medication. There are also suggestions that reverse smuggling, where countries sell the stocks of drugs that they have, smuggling them over the border to other countries, might be partially to blame for this, and their domestic healthcare policies, including companies like Novo Nordisk's ability to sell drugs at whatever price they like. So similar to the US. Just a couple of insulin access issues that people are having across the world right now. It would probably be a little bit cruel of me to tell you about these things, to make you aware and then just leave you with this sense of, oh, that's really bad, and not tell you what you can do about it. The first one is to look at #InsulinForAll. They are a campaign that runs globally, however they have chapters, to get an information pack from them, to read about what they're doing and how you can support them. Beyond Type 1 is another good website to look at. They have recently launched an insulin emergency access project, which is looking at an interim solution for people to access insulin in emergency situations. Now, they have been criticised for this because, of course, emergency insulin access is not a permanent solution to the problem. They have been criticised for not putting pressure on the government and just coming up with this sort of filler. But they have a lot of information on their website, and if you are diabetic and you desperately need insulin, please go to their website. Don't be a martyr about it. Get your insulin. You can also do what I'm doing, which is talking about it, speaking up. Governments don't like having pressure put on them by external media to make changes. It's quite embarrassing in this day and age to be a country that does not look after its citizens. Diabetics are literally dying, and this is something that countries should be completely ashamed of. Insulin's not a cure, but it keeps people alive, and it has done for over 100 years now. Given that the patent for insulin was sold by Banting for $1, it is not acceptable that people are having insulin access issues in this day and age. Whether it be because of governments, price gauging, insurance, or whether countries simply cannot access medications that they desperately need. This World Diabetes Day, I want to encourage you to talk about these things. It's so important that people know what diabetes is, but I wanted to talk about something that's vital to a lot of people. I will leave links to lots of resources and websites that you can visit down below if you feel like you can and want to do something to help. To all my Type 1s out there, happy World Diabetes Day. We are unfortunately all in this together, wherever you are. I hope you're safe and well. I never know how to end these videos, so I am just going to sign off with a simple thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.